Hello everybody, I apologise for lack of uploads. It's been quite busy. I've been let off my work because they don't need as much staff now, so it's the second year I've worked there, and it seems they just don't really need any more temps, so I'm at the moment in between looking for jobs, so this gives me a little bit more time to work on some reviews. I apologise for lack of uploads as well. I wanted to do more content and more review, but June was kind of a quiet month for me, I guess. There was still a bunch of stuff to talk about. At the start of the month I had some albums I was generally interested in properly going through, like Catatonia and Turnstile, but when it came to just the end of the month, it kind of fizzled out. And July, the first week, is just so dead. There was almost nothing I was thinking of talking about that released 4th of July, but if there is something, I'll probably put it into the July albums of the month video. But yeah, June, this one's a bit short. I think it's only like 10 albums I've got here, so let's just go through them. And yeah, I apologise for this one being late. I just want to take a week off to relax as well. It's been quite hot, so I haven't been on my computer as much, and I frankly wanted to avoid it as much as possible until we had a cooler day, and today's a bit cool, so here we go. 5th of July, I'm doing the June albums of the month. That's how delayed I am. So I'm going to start with talking about Half Man Half Biscuit, all Asimov and no fresh air. So Half Man Half Biscuit is quite a small alternative post-punk band from the UK. It's kind of got a lot of tongue-in-cheek humour with this record, especially with the Ben Shepherd line, kind of on the last track. I even like the kind of direction it goes for. It's just got a nice little bit of silliness to a more kind of tame acoustic sound, just kind of playing into the silliness of just kind of politics put into a soft rock direction. I think the blend we get here is quite interesting, and this is what the band's been doing for a while. I can't say that this is one of their best, as I haven't really dabbled in much of Half Man Half Biscuit. If not, I haven't ever, but from what I can tell here, this kind of fits the sound I imagine they have, and this is fine. I don't think there's really too much I can say about it. I just think it's a decent listen every once in a while, but I rarely see myself wanting to go back to this one because, let's face it, a lot of the songs just kind of sound the same, and while they can be funny lyrically, there's not really much to it outside of that, so I just find this to be alright. I'll give it a 2.5 out of 5 because that's the alright rating. Next we have Hot Milk Corporation P.O.P. So Hot Milk's second album is finally here, following their debut Call to the Void, which I wasn't that big on Call to the Void. I remember saying it was just alright, but going back, I'd probably say it has grown on me to the point I would say it's a good album. Or at least I'd say it's a decently good record. I kind of like the pop-punky energy they bring into it, as well as just bringing some more post-hardcore and giving that nice blend. I feel like Hot Milk kind of have this interesting dynamic where they could be either poppy or they can be poppy and just put in some heavy into it. A lot of bands do this, but Hot Milk just kind of has this mainstream charm that I somewhat enjoy with the last record, and at least with some of the songs. Matter of fact, going back into it, I like the album as a whole at this point, and they did remove Amphetamine because that song featured Loveless, a band with a lot of controversy, and I don't really need to explain it here. So Corporation P.O.P. kind of follows this with a more hard rock, metal centric guitar tone. They want to put in a lot more of these heavier riffs and just heavier aesthetic to the record to kind of give you this angry angst that the band's kind of been wanting to explore more with this record. And while it's interesting, I kind of just get the impression of, cool, we got heavier riffs, and while there are some heavy vocals, I just feel like they really don't build up or at least give you an ultimate climax to the song, or just generally has the same appeal as some of the breakdowns we had in Call to the Void. Something like Over Your Dead Body, I completely forgot about the title for a minute, which is probably easily my favourite song from Hot Milk, even to this day. I just like the way they kind of incorporate it into this post-hardcore poppy sound. I like the dynamic of it, the unclean to cool. and stuff like Migraine as well. It's nice to hear just the lead singer belting out a little bit of aggression into her voice towards the end. I honestly like the energy they bring, and while it's nice that they're trying to be more energetic here, I just feel like it's a bit more of a rinse repeat cycle of less original ideas, but an aesthetic that I prefer to be explored more. I appreciate the fact that they kind of went more this direction, but I feel like the payoff isn't quite as good as I expected, and I kind of say it has highs that beats the debut, but I don't think it has the kind of appeal that I liked from their debut. So it's kind of around a mixture of the same I prefer from that. I only would say that this album might be it by a smidge, but yeah, it's still decent. I'll give it a 3 out of 5. Next we have Volbeat, the new album Gods of Angels Trust. I was going to talk about this one on a separate review, but around to the end of the month, or at least I kind of left this one out and wanted to talk about it, but I never got the chance, so here we are talking about the new Volbeat. I can't say I was big on it, to be honest. My issue with Volbeat is that I find a lot of their stuff to just kind of feel a bit generic. The guy's voice is fine, but it's certainly not one that I'm a big fan of, and I think that kind of deters me from listening to a lot of their kind of classic stuff. I still listen to some of them anyway, like Lola Montez is definitely a fun song, and they are capable of making some great stuff. They have got a lot of big well-known hits, but I just find them to kind of be like the generic hard rock metal bands that a lot of radio stations will play the shit out of, like Planet Rock for example. And I don't think Volbeat's such a bad band as it is, it's just I kind of find their concept of how they write a record, especially now, just to not really appeal to me. The new record here has a few good songs to start off with. By Monster's Hand definitely is a highlight, and this was a fun single and I enjoyed it when it came out. Even the long title song that I refuse to say because it sounds like some grindcore meets death metal Cannibal Corpse title for some reason. That one being quite good as well, but I feel like once we pass the singles, we are just stuck with some of the worst stuff we've heard in a while from the band. And while they do experiment, by worse I mean it's not that bad, but it's very, very basic by Volbeat standards, so I'm not really a fan of this one. I'll have to give it a 2 out of 5 to be completely honest. Next we got King Parrot, A Young Person's Guide to King Parrot. So King Parrot is a grindcore band that has been getting quite a bit of attention here and there, an Australian band, and probably one of the biggest kind of bands in the genre at the moment, I'd say. Honestly, King Parrot has a lot of entertainment value into this new record. It kind of shapes up a lot of the issues I had with some of the earlier stuff. I feel like it's got a cleaner presentation than what they've had previously, and at the same time it also kind of feels like the most accessible. If you want to listen to King Parrot, I think this is probably the best step to start with it. I mean, it is a young person's guide to King Parrot, the name's pretty much there, and I feel the energy they bring to this is just quite a lot of fun. When it comes to grindcore, I don't really know many bands that fail to do it, because I don't really know many bands that really want to do it, but as of where it goes, this is a good album, I quite enjoy it, 3.5 out of 5. Next we got Orthodox, A Door Left Open. This is a metalcore band that I haven't never even heard of until a few months ago, and then I've just written this down for my list of stuff to review. Honestly, this is actually one of the most engaging metalcore albums I've heard this year already. This one kind of blends into more new metal. Some of the band's biggest inspirations come from bands like Mudvayne, the way that they can take the heavy metal approach and kind of give it this groove with either bass lines or just kind of fun riffs that incorporate this more new metalcore aesthetic, to bands like System of a Down when it comes to the energy they bring and the variety they have in their songwriting. This album's cool, and I think it's quite nice to the features we have. Another band bringing Brand Daler on, and I think I kind of wish he was in the song a bit more. I feel like he was just lumped at the end, but it's still nice to see him here because it's definitely a memorable, fun song, and I think every song on this record, yeah, it's pretty interesting. Definitely not one of the best metalcore albums of the year, but as of where I put on the list, it's probably quite high, and yeah, that's pretty much what I have to say with the Orthodox record. 3.5 out of 5. Quite like this one. We have the new one by Heaven Shall Burn, Heimat. Yeah, when it comes to this sort of metalcore, I think it's alright. I feel like they have some interesting ideas here, and they bring in this kind of symphonic big opening and kind of try and bring this dramatic classical opera direction into the mix of their metal. Kind of reminded me of what Imminence did with the Black, and I think it's interesting that I just didn't really vibe with this one, because I feel like it had the components of a great record, but I couldn't really see it through the execution. Matter of fact, this one's interesting as well, that it's a band called Heaven Shall Burn, a song that is an Imminence song, and there's a song on here called Imminence. What are the odds? I don't know. I just feel like this album didn't really click with me the same way that other metalcore fans probably would have enjoyed this, because I feel, like I said, it has a concrete direction, and it plays with some fun ideas, but as a whole, I just wasn't really vibing with this one as much. I really wanted to get into it more, but just kind of found it was alright. I just didn't really hate it. It's very inoffensive to me, so it kind of goes into that 2.5 out of 5 ranking I'd give it. Next we have Badflower. This is No Place Like Home by Badflower, and I'm not really feeling this one, to be honest. I feel like it's just kind of an album that has interesting ideas to the point where I'd like to see it explored in a good way, but I find the album just to be kind of annoying. Whenever they explore like the variety they have here, I just find there's a lot of sounds that just kind of irk me or irritate me, and it puts me off from wanting to listen to this. Badflower's a band that I have enjoyed some of their songs in the past, and I even think there are a few good songs here, but honestly, it's such a letdown from the hype I've been hearing about it. It definitely does not at all connect with me in any way. I just find this to kind of be a very weird, annoying record that I'm not a fan of. I'll have to give it a 2 out of 5. Next we have Malevolence, Where Only the Truth is Spoken. Honestly, this is a band that's kind of rising in the British metalcore scene. They are doing quite well for themselves, and this is another example of them doing some generally good, banging music. I'd probably say in a similar vein to Orthodox. Definitely not one of my favourite metalcore albums, but it's definitely one of the better ones this year. I like what we got here. I find there's a lot of fun songs, and I don't think they even drop in the quality of this one. I feel like from start to finish you're kind of getting what you expect, and I appreciate what it brings. It's definitely a lot of fun. 3.5 out of 5 for this one. Next we got HAIM, I Quit. I just got to be honest, this is not my kind of music, and it's not my cup of tea. I wanted to give it a go because I've been hearing raving reviews of this, but it's just really a hard album to get into. I feel like the sound-wise it's alright, but as a whole album, especially with the mouse stuff on it, I was not interested in how this sounded. A lot of it to me just kind of had the same indie rock, kind of pop rock appeal that some fans might like, but it just does not work for me whatsoever. I just did not really care for this one, so I give it a 2 out of 5. Not an album I enjoy. Finally, we have Higher Power. There's Love in the World If You Want It. This album probably irritates me the most on this list, because I really wanted to like this one a whole lot more. Higher Power has a formula that's interesting. They kind of start off sounding like Turnstile, but in Britain, so British Turnstile. Then they kind of dive a few songs into either having this Turnstile sound, but they mix it in with a more shoegaze approach. And then for the rest of the record, it's either shoegaze kind of on its own with a grunge sound, or it's a more of an emo pop punk shoegaze blend. It's really weird, the kind of genre bending on this, because I was expecting more of this Turnstile energy that the first song brought, and while there are a few songs that keep that on, it just kind of goes into a shoegaze record. It feels like it has the identity of this hardcore punk sound that Turnstile brings, then it just slivers into this Narrowhead meets LS June sort of direction when it comes to this, I guess, bend in the sound. It's interesting enough. I feel like it doesn't overstay its welcome, but the thing that irritates me the most is not as much of it being the genre bending. It's more so the fact that there are some great grand songs on here that kind of ruin the flow. Oh look, there's a plane. I'll just have to kind of get it closer to the mic as it's coming. So the biggest issue I have with this is the fact that there are some really good songs, and then you have a few songs that either just feel like they go on for so long than they should because there's not really much to them, which is one of the first songs, and then you have just some songs I feel are just a bit bland. It doesn't offer much. It's got variety, then it feels like it needs more variety. And that's probably the best way I can describe this record. It has so much potential. They utilize it probably about 50% and then kind of give you a lackluster rest of 50%. But I'd still say it's a good album, and I'm going to give it this one a 3 out of 5. I did quite enjoy this for a sort of 3 out of 5, 6 out of 10 ranking. But yeah, I feel like there was a lot more they could have done with it as well. I feel like it just kind of lacked it. Even one song kind of reminded me of En Shikari, but that probably is just due to the vocals, which is weird because I'm pretty sure this band's from Leeds, but some of the lines just remind me of Ralph Reynolds singing, and Ralph Reynolds is not from Leeds, he's from St Albans, so interesting enough. But that is pretty much my 10 albums I wanted to talk about for June. So sorry that this is a short video, I just didn't really have as much to talk about, and I did want to kind of go into more stuff, but I felt like I was already delaying this by a week, and I didn't really have much time to talk about some other stuff. There was a review for Cryptops, but I might have to just leave that one for now, because while July is a bit dead, I'm going to use this time to work on other stuff. I need to find a job, I need to plan out what I want to do with my future, so this is still something I'm going to do as a hobby, but I can't really see myself getting anywhere with this because it's purely just a hobby done unprofessionally, so just something I enjoy doing, and I'm happy to do these reviews because they're just a lot of fun. But that's pretty much it. I hope you all enjoy, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.